free to play, pay to win, pay to progress, pay to subscribe, pay to play, pay. All those little new categories of payment and game style and economical scheduling for gaming. All those things that have brought the gaming industry where it is today, with a lot of mediocrity, a lot of people don't knowing what to play, what to expect, a lot of frustration on the gaming communities about companies not listening, not supporting them enough. But let's get things from the beginning. And what games were? What we had in games before all those little abbreviations. We had companies that were making games for gamers. We had companies that were basing the games on gameplay to have a fun experience, good combat, decent graphics to the age. We're talking about like maybe even 10 years back or even further. And they would make a game and deliver to you a game almost free of bugs and problems, tested by paid testers. And they had to do that because a very long time ago, there was no download from the internet. There would have to be decent CDs and DVDs. And it was a high cost to make a mistake, to reissue the DVDs, the CDs, and distribute them and people to buy them. Even later on, when this became obsolete because of the faster speeds on internet and people could just download the games without the need for physical copies, we still had the companies making decent games. You would buy an expansion every 6 months for the original price of the game. So every 6 months you would pay 50, 60 euros or dollars, buy the new game. And most of those games were also subscription based, which means you paid your 60 euros to buy the game. And every month you will pay your 10, 12, 15 euros or dollars, whatever the company was charging. And there was this relationship between the company and the gamers, the company and the clients. We had more demands, more expectation from the companies because we were paying customers, and they felt the need to create a good product and provide a good service to us. Then those models about free to play came about, which meant you get the game for free and you get to play it. Now, how they make money, that was their problem. Most gamers didn't care. All they cared about was that, hey, it's a free game. I don't have to pay money anymore. There were ads on their websites, ads in the game. They had their own ways of doing it. However, that model did not last very long. It did last long enough, but not very long, because the bills came due and they had to pay them, which means they had to make more money. Then the industry came up with a great idea, which was in-game shops for microtransactions. Microtransactions, we're talking about something you can buy in the game, for the game. And micro means anything between $1, €1 to 20, 25. Usually doesn't go any higher than that. Although there have been occasions you can buy more expensive items. They started originally by providing things like pets and mounts, colors for your gear, all these little things we call vanity items, maybe a few things for your house if it has a housing system, and so on and so forth. However, people I think got bored of that, and the companies were not making as much money as they thought, although they did make a lot. So they moved to the next category, which we call now pay to win. Most of these terms, pay to win, are from the player base. And what is a pay to win game? A pay to win game is a free to play game. So you can download it for free. You can install it, you start playing it. It still has the microtransaction shop. It still has all those vanity items. But on top of that, also has items which give what's called an unfair advantage to some of the players. And that means the paying players. So on those type of games, you can buy, for example, a sword that deals more damage than any other sword in the game, which you can go and farm in a dungeon or as a drop, as loot. Or you can buy a mount which moves faster than any other mount in the game. Therefore, you gain an unfair advantage. Therefore, you are paying to win, and that term is more related to, or best applied when we're talking about PvP, because you pay money and you get better stuff to win the other player against the other player. Those games, they still exist, but they haven't lasted long enough because people don't want to play that thing, especially when you have, as it stands on the world, people that have a lot of money and people that just don't have a lot of money, but they still want to have fun and play the games. So these games don't really exist anymore because, you know, people were not spending the money, or they were leaving the game altogether, and that was a problem for the companies. So they came up with a new model, and the new model is pay to progress. So I'm sorry, I'm explaining the terms for those that may not be aware of them. Pay to progress is exactly what we have described so far, including the free download of the game, free to play, shop in the game, microtransactions, but they don't have those extra items that you can only get on the shop. So everybody gets the same items, but what they've done is they're giving you mainly boosters, meaning you will pay money and you'll get a booster for a day, for a week, for a month, for 3 months, whatever it is, the amount of money you pay to get double experience in the game, to get double gold or better chances of loot dropping in the game. So you progress through the game, through the content a lot faster than anybody else. That is, anybody else who is not paying. Those type of games, the ones that exist on the market right now, mainly, they consider to be more fair because no one gets something the other person cannot. They just get it a little bit faster. Personally, I hate pay to progress games. I don't know if there's anything I can do, but I hate them because I personally see a lot more implications to this system for the players than the pay to win or anything else. My preferred model for games is pay to buy them, right? So you get a better product, in my opinion, and then pay your subscription, and then you have more rights to demand things and expect a service. Because all those economical models have led everybody to a mediocrity. The companies say it's a free to play, what do you want? The players have settled down to, hey man, it's a free to play, okay, you know, it's free to play, you're not paying for it, it's okay. And then from, you know, we want a good game, an excellent game, we came to, yeah, it's okay, it's expected, it's free to play, what do you expect? We just let things slide, and that has given the companies a lot of leadway to make the games a product which you go and have that consumability, like food. You know, we'll make a game now, it will last 3 months, we'll grab this amount of millions, then we'll make another one. We'll just take this one, and the one we made before, we'll take the PvP from one and the PvP from the other, and we'll make a new game, call it something else, and then force people, not force, but produce to people as a brand new thing, hype it, advertise it, let them download it for free, and then grab what we can on microtransactions and everything, and keep on going. It's a product now, it's not a creation. You know, people used to put their hearts and minds to create something they enjoy, the friends would enjoy, and eventually the customers / the gaming communities. I don't like pay to progress because I feel that when it comes to children, which usually play a lot more than adults do because, you know, they have jobs, they look after the kids and all that, it creates some of the problems which I will describe right now. Let me put this in an example, because sometimes what an idea or a thought you have in your mind is difficult to explain to someone else. Imagine you have a group of 5 children, which, you know, children, talking anything about, you know, 12 years old to play games all the way to, I don't know, 20, 21, early teens. And these 5 children, they play together soccer and cricket, basketball, whatever sport you want. They go in the same school, the same age, same class. So they all day together, and they decide to play a free-to-play MMORPG with pay-to-progress system in place. 4 of the children have bigger allowances, they have more money, but the 5th one comes from a poorer family and doesn't have the money. Now, on a pay-to-win game, it's simple. You either pay or you don't play. Because if you don't pay, you're always going to lose, it's no fun. You know this. You have no real choice there. But on a pay to progress, you can play for free. If you pay, you move faster. If you don't, you still move. And the game pretty much tells you, well, if you want to catch up to those that have the money, then play more. And I feel that this can create some sort of psychological pressure for the poor child to start playing more hours. So if they all play together all the time and they play 5 hours, at some point those paying children will be level 30 and the other child will be level 15 because they move forward in double the speed. So that child will either have to stop playing with his friends, which is also psychological pressure, or start playing double hours to catch up with them because he can't afford the money. And God forbids if he feels so much pressure as to go and steal. And I mean, still, even taking money from your grandmother's wallet or, your mother's wallet to pay and get a booster for a week or a month and speed up is still bad. And the problem with this is that the options are there, and therefore some people, even adults, may fall into that trap to buy and do whatever they can so they don't feel left out, because there is the option there. And also, if he goes and plays more hours, it could affect his sleeping or her sleeping patterns, school performance, because he wants to be along with the other children. And I really don't like that model. I mean, I'm old enough to have experienced a lot of things, like, from gaming addiction, gambling addiction with friends and family and all that. And I've learned my lesson from them. So it doesn't matter to me if people move forward. I just have my own pace. I don't care. But children are very susceptible to the opinion of others, and especially the friends and people the same age. So this model, I really hate it. I wish it would be simpler, because if it were just paid to buy, you could go and say, hey, ma'am, I need money to buy the game. And that is something a parent possibly will understand a little better than having a child go and say, hey, I want to buy a booster. And 2 days later, oh, I need to buy another booster, another booster, another booster, because they're running out on daily and things like that. And buying a game and play it on the previous model, it's also something a child could ask as a Christmas present, and it's one thing and it's done, And the subscription then, parents are more likely to put something on the credit card and leave it there as a monthly little fee, which they won't think about, rather than have the child asking all the time for, because those boosters, after a month they run out, after a week they run out, after a few days, and most likely parents say, no, I'm not going to pay, 20 euros for you to get a booster. Here's 5 for a week, and then goes 5, 5, 5, 5. It becomes an annoyance and things like that. No matter which way you look at it, no matter which way, which economical system it's applied in a game, so far, the recording of this podcast, companies care about how much money they're going to get and how fast in order to move to the next one and repeat the cycle. It is sad. And I know that most of my podcasts right now, they revolve around companies and games, but it is something that's been itching me. It's been bugging me. I'm a gamer for 20 years. I've been playing a variety of games, from FPS to MMORPGs to platformers, puzzle games, adventures, pretty much. I've tried everything that is out there, card games. And there's always was a game, there always was an excitement to try a new game. And I still have that excitement to try a new game. Unfortunately, you can see, after all these years of playing games, I haven't played, amazing games like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Neverwinter, Diablo 2, Diablo 1, exciting games, new games with, gameplay and content and depth and engagement, to go and play some of the modern games, which I'm not going to name, and just quit it in 2 hours, in 3 hours. Or, watch all these exciting people going into the game, 1 million, 2 million downloads on a game. Imagine the advertisement on that. And 2 weeks later, you read a post and says, quite a few people play the game. It's like from 2 million downloads to quite a few. Imagine like how many people quit the game, how fast, within a week or two. And I don't know if there's going to be any other models coming out. But these models just seem that they don't work for gamers. And there's new games coming out as well, which they're gonna have the pay to progress. At least that's what they claim. And I say claim because you will see a lot of companies claim, no, we're not going to add any, anything that's going to speed up the game too much, or anything's going to give an unfair advantage, and so on and so forth. But once the bills are due, all these things can change. There's no legal bounding to the statements they make, to the announcements they bring out, the tweets, the posts, the this and that. I personally have lost a lot of trust in companies with these kind of models. I just hope, they will come up or return to quality gaming. And I guarantee them, and speaking for myself, of course, always, the fact that if they bring out a decent, high quality game with good gameplay, good graphics, good sounds, without a lot of problems, and without a lot of problems, I mean, when you watch a video in the game, so you watch the visual and the audio go together, not the audio starting first and 30 seconds later, the characters start talking and stuff like that, which we see a lot. Stable servers, good content, expandable content, interesting mechanisms on dungeons and fighting and things like that. I am pretty sure that people will be very happy to buy the game for 60, 70 euros, and very certain they will be more than happy to pay that $12 to $15 or euros subscription, which is the pretty standard fee for the games. I mean, WoW done very well for itself in this kind of model with only vanity microtransactions, pets, mounts, gear that look better and things like that. Warhammer Online, it didn't last as long as WoW, but it did very well as long as it stayed. EVE Online was doing great before they switched the model to, buy things. And I just wish they're going to go back into it. I feel personally disappointed by the companies, and I can see that from people that come to my Twitch channel and we chat about it, how bored they are from the games. And I also watch some other fellow streamers which they play a game that comes out, yeah, it's good, and things like that, and then 3 months later they never touch the game again. 2 months later they don't touch the game again. I've seen streamers play the game with pay to progress, and in 1 week they are on the end game content, and people say that's when the game starts. But what about the rest of the game? I mean, you have like hundreds of quests all the way up there, you have dozens of dungeons all the way up there, and you skip all those, you go to the end game, which is arenas, esport, and that's it. Most games anyways. People skip the MMO part for progress. I don't know how we ended up in this, but anyways, these are the models right now, and I'm just waiting to see, because there are a few games coming out by the end of 2021, maybe beginning of 2022, which will be apparently using only vanity microtransactions, no pay to win, no pay to progress. And I'm excited to see if they're gonna work for the gamers, because it's been a while since we had a fair game out there. So let's see what's gonna happen by the end of the year.